Here are 10 IKEA products to avoid at all costs. First of all, IKEA has a way to make everyone buy something, but usually we fill our cart faster than we realize. Shopping at IKEA is a trap sometimes. Everything looks amazing in the showroom, right? The rooms are perfectly styled, the price tags seem totally reasonable, and it's so easy to imagine the pieces looking great at your place. But here's the thing. Once you get the stuff home, some of it just doesn't match the expectations. However, the devil is in the details. So instead of telling you what to buy, here's a hard pass list of what not to buy or what to avoid. Starting from the ceiling, the lighting first. Those pendants and hanging lights, they look super modern and high-end in the store. But most of the time, it's not the shade that's the problem. It's the cord. Thin, plastic-wrapped wires hanging from the ceiling instead of making something that should look fancy feel cheap, especially in a kitchen or dining room where the lighting is supposed to be a centerpiece. That little detail sticks out like it doesn't belong there. If it has a plastic cord instead of a structured rod or a metal chain, the recommendation is to skip it. Next on the list are pillows. Let me tell you something. These pillow inserts are almost useless. They're cheap and easy to toss in your cart, but they're usually underfilled. That means your sofa will never really look full or styled. The pillows collapse the second anyone leans on them, and suddenly your sitting area looks sad and flat. If a pillow feels light and airy when you pick it up, it's probably not dense enough, so maybe better to skip it or grab a better insert elsewhere. You'll notice the difference every single day. Regarding sofas, well, some are okay, but honestly, a lot of the mid-range ones look better in the showroom than they perform at home. Why? Because slipcovers shift, and as soon as you sit on it, wrinkles show up, cushions sag, and you end up constantly fixing it just to make it look neat. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Here we have the same problems with the pillows, and that is cushion density. In the store, everything feels soft and cozy for the 5 minutes you sit on it. But softer doesn't always mean better long-term support. After a few months of daily use, that plush feeling can turn into obvious dips where everyone always sits, and then the whole sofa starts looking tired way too soon. Then we have chipboard furniture. This is very much a use it temporarily or if you're on a tight budget kind of thing. And that's fine, because not everything has to be forever furniture. But long term, that's where the issues start showing up. One of the things that does the most damage is moisture. It makes it swell, even if you have a perfect climate in your home. A small spill that you don't wipe up immediately can leave bubbling or warped edges. Even humidity alone can slowly affect it over time. Shelves start to sag under weight, especially if you're actually using them for books or heavier decor. And once that bending starts, there's really no fixing it. Another thing people don't think about is how easily the corners chip. One small bump while moving it and suddenly the veneer peels back and exposes that compressed wood texture underneath. It doesn't take much. Once it chips, it always looks chipped. There's no real way to hide it. These pieces aren't really built to survive multiple moves. The screws loosen, the structure weakens, and what felt good enough at first can start feeling unstable pretty quickly. There's no secret that pieces made mostly from fiberboard instead of solid wood or metal are just not made for long runs. They can look great at the beginning, especially styled in a showroom, but daily life is harder on furniture than we realize. Now let's talk about something you really don't want to cheap out on, and that's the faucet. Some look modern looking from a distance, but the truth comes out the second you actually touch them. And with faucets, that first impression matters. You're going to use it multiple times a day. Well, every single day. So if the handle feels loose or the whole thing feels hollow and lightweight, that's not something you'll magically stop noticing later. Then, the mobility of the faucet is one of the first things we usually check when we buy a new one. Those small details become very obvious once it's installed. Especially around a sink, you're constantly dealing with water spots, soap, and cleaning products, which is not a gentle environment. When it comes to appliances, the best advice to take is to measure everything before you commit. Not just the exterior dimensions, but measure your cabinets, your openings, and clearance space. After that, measure the interior capacity too. IKEA appliances are often European-sized, which can mean they're perfectly compact on the outside, but a lot smaller inside than you expect. Another thing people forget is installation compatibility. Make sure the appliance works with your existing hookups, ventilation setup, and electrical requirements. In fact, they're daily use workhorses. If something already feels slightly tight or limited in the showroom, it's definitely not going to feel bigger once it's in your kitchen. When you come to the rug section, colors and motifs will completely steal your attention. They're gorgeous in the showroom, but once you look at larger sizes, the prices climb fast. A 5x8 rug might cost almost as much as a bigger 8x10 rug elsewhere. If it feels pricey, compare before buying on impulse. You might get a better deal outside. Now, about the sleeping sofa section. They're cute and compact, but comfort usually takes a hit. If you're tight on space, a quality twin mattress as a daybed can be much better than a thin, uncomfortable sleeping sofa. Speaking of mattresses, it's smart to be careful with the purchase too. Floor models in store might already show wear, so softness can be misleading. Foam density and edge support matter more than initial comfort. Comparing brands before buying helps avoid backaches and saves you a lot of money and time. Then we have IKEA tools. They're all handy to hold in a hand, but let's be real. Most IKEA tools are corded and unpowered. Mobility is limited, and they don't last long. Basically, IKEA is fine if you shop smart, but these are the things you should be cautious with, or simply skip altogether. For a better shopping experience next time, watch the materials, how things are built, and think about how they'll actually function every day. It's the difference between a space that just looks good in theory and one that actually works in real life. Have you ever invested in something that looks promising at first, but later turned out to be a mistake?